They'd be a great shooting team. We didn't even know if they'd be a good shooting team, and we still don't. But they won't be as bad as they were last night.
No.
Kuzma's not going to go 1 of 7. Ingram and LeBron are not going to combine to go 0 for 8 from 3 as they did last night. But that's why they lost the game last night. Couldn't hit an outside shot at all for the first 3 quarters of the game.
And we're going to have other nights just like this. It's going to be one of the reasons why people say, oh, how many games they're going to win? 40, 50. If they can hit their three-pointers, they can be one of the top 4 seeds. If they don't, they're going to be fighting in that West. This is life in the Western Conference. Tough matchup night after night.
All right, to the East, Bulls taking on the 76ers. Ben Simmons looked good with a 13, 13, and 11 triple-double, while Joel Embiid added 30 points and 12 rebounds. The Sixers win big, 127-108. Nick, this is the Philly team you thought you were going to see right out of the gate.
And it's the Bulls team I know we're going to see all year long. One of the worst teams in basketball. Philly, in the first quarter last night, I was concerned. They gave up 41 points in the first quarter to a bad Bulls team. They gave up 35 points in the next 2 quarters combined. And we saw most teams are not going to have an answer for your pick preseason for MVP, Joel Embiid. He dominated this basketball game. Simmons was really good. Embiid was the best player on the court.
Yeah, it's good to see that they have a style. Joel Embiid, he's not going to lie on the three-point line. He's going to be a post-up player, phenomenal two-way player, amazing on the defensive glass and rejecting shots. But to me, the best thing was the coach, Brett Brown, playing Markelle Fultz, playing those 32 minutes, not giving up on him. You can see with the fan support how very rare is it to see a standing ovation for a starting player to hit a three-pointer. That's what we saw last night. That's what we must continue to watch in Philadelphia.
All right, on to the NFL now. The 4-2 Bengals traveling into Arrowhead to take on the 5-1 Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City putting up nearly 36 points per game, while the Bengals defense ranked 29th in the NFL, giving up 409 yards per game. CC, how can the Bengals try and slow down this Chiefs high-powered offense?
Let's go back to New England. New England faced them recently. It was a great football game Sunday night. The things we talked about there, either a short passing game or, man, we need to definitely control the time of possession. We need to be able to run the football. We need to keep Patrick Mahomes and that explosive offense off the field. That should be the ongoing theme every week. Now, the problem here is, how do you do it? How do you continue to call up enough third downs? And even if I do lose, I can still lose, because that's where New England was. If they don't score as quick as Kansas City scored there late in the fourth quarter, we don't know if Tom Brady is able to bring New England back if this game goes into overtime. So it's hard to do. When you're playing, it's the pressure that you face. It's very, very rare that when you're in an offensive meeting in Cincinnati this week, they're talking about the other offense in Kansas City. And that's what you have to face. It's going to be a beautiful night. It's a Sunday night game. The weather's going to be beautiful there during the day, high in the 60s. So a beautiful night to be able to play football. My local weatherman here, we'll kick him back into action later on this season. So that's the pressure, though. And it's very, very rare that you're so worried as an offense, which the Bengals and Andy Dalton will be, about Patrick Mahomes, because if you put your defense out there 32, 34 minutes, they're going to give up 35, 40 points.
Well, and listen, I do not think the Bengals can slow down the Chiefs' offense. The only hope they have defensively is the Chiefs have some offensive line injuries that they suffered in the game against New England. Geno Atkins is one of the best interior defensive linemen in football and has been for the better part of the last half decade. He would have to have one of his best games of the year if they're going to have any shot at slowing down the Chiefs' offense. What they're going to have to do, I think, is try to match scores. They're going to have to try to do what Pittsburgh almost was able to do, what New England was able to do, which is say, okay, we know you're getting your 35. We're going to try to get our 38. So that means A.J. Green. That means Tyler Boyd, who's actually had quietly a good year. And Andy Dalton has had an outstanding season, last week notwithstanding. Like, this is going to be a game in good conditions at Arrowhead that the Bengals, I think, have to go into it saying, similar to what New England did, 4th and short, past the 50, it's 4-down territory. That we are not settling for 3, because we saw the Chiefs. People need to remember, in last week's game, how many points did the Chiefs have at halftime? 9. They finished with 40. So even if the Chiefs stall out early, turn the ball over, settle for field goals, they will find a way to get their points. Cincinnati needs to score early.
Kansas City has been amazing playing on the road in tough conditions. In Pittsburgh, we saw what they did to them. In Denver against that defense, toughened. And then the toughest place in New England. What do they do at home? If they're going to have home field advantage, you guys must send a message. Every time you play at home, they got a great fan base. Let's see the message they can do. They should play their best football on their home track.
That is one of the reasons people should be, I think, encouraged or at least believe the Chiefs are pacing, as you said. You thought they'd go 14-2. First 6 games of the year, 4 of them have been on the road. None of them have been against easy opponents. It's been the Chargers is the one you didn't mention. Now, that's not an intimidating environment, but that's a good team.
안녕하세요.
New England. Their home games have been easier, San Francisco and Jacksonville. This will be, I believe, their toughest opponent at home yet. They've dominated those home games. I think they'll continue that this Sunday night.
All right, let's move on to the Cowboys, where Dak Prescott is coming off his best game of the season. This weekend, it's a crucial divisional matchup against Washington. Owner Jerry Jones knows exactly who the Cowboys quarterback of the future is, saying, quote, he's long-term. Anything we